If we begin with the end in mind, all the way on the right-hand side, this is when you would report for basic training. If you were to get accepted to the academy, you would report your senior second semester summer going into your freshman year of college around June 25th to June 30th. It's going to be the last week of June, whether that's West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, or some of the other small academies. You might trickle into early July, but it's going to usually be that last week of June. If you go back to the left a few months, May 1st is National College Decision Day. That's when almost all colleges will require you to put down a deposit to secure your place in the class. And that is May 1st. And then if we had another vertical line, which just didn't have room there because we're showing 4 years here, it would be April 15th. Okay, and April 15th, that's the notification deadline, typically for the academies. They will notify you usually no later than April 15th. Sometimes it trickles past that. However, most decisions are going to be made before April 15th. All right, and you see up here, actually, the decisions are rolling. So they're on a rolling basis. Some of our candidates this year found out in August that they got what's called an LOA to an academy, a letter of assurance. What that is, it's a very valuable document. It says, basically, we've secured you a spot in the class pending or contingent upon you getting or earning a congressional nomination and a medical clearance through the Dodmer process. Okay, so they can't give you an appointment because you're not medically cleared and you don't have a nomination yet. But they can give you an early notification of admission pending those two things, and that's what they do. That can start as early as the semester, your first semester or very beginning of your senior year, all the way up until it's rolling all the way up until April 15th. Okay, it's something very important for you to know going through this process is the academies are rolling admissions. Typical colleges are not. So the pro tip here is, you want to, when this time comes, you want to get your application in as soon as possible, because the sooner you submit, all other things being equal, the greater advantage you have. If they see an applicant they like early on, they might just give them an LOA. And if somebody who was the same type of applicant but waited till the deadline, that LOA was already given to the person who struck gold sooner. All of these requirements are big rocks. In blue here for the academies. And this is an oversimplified version of the process, but we'll still talk about it. One is the Dodmer process, Department of Defense Medical Evaluation Review Board. That is an in-depth medical board that discusses all the things that have happened to you medically over the course of your life. It's literally a medical history assessment. Very difficult to get qualified, actually. About 20% are disqualified every year, unfortunately, and it can ruin your chances of actually getting an appointment because you have to be medically cleared before they're going to give you a $300,000 scholarship. All right, so this is the Dodmer process here, and that happens after you complete your application. So these red lines, and this is where we're going to talk about the other vertical lines here. These red vertical lines are the deadlines for each of the applications. The academy applications, the congressional nomination applications, and the ROTC applications. So there's deadlines for each of them, and they're all different. Application due dates for the academies are usually going to be around the end of January or middle of January, but they're going to be in the winter. But for congressional nominations, those are going to be due in the fall. So between September and November, depending upon your congressional representative and your senators. Completely depends on where you live. So those deadlines will be advertised the fall of your senior year, or the summer of your senior year, so that you can submit those. And just a heads up, between September 1st and November 1st, I would say, are when the majority of those are. So you need to be ready to submit those. And then for ROTC scholarships, and they have usually 3 or more boards as early as October in the fall of your senior year up until March of your senior year, so second semester. You have to meet the board in order to get looked at. There are these boards, and the earlier you submit, the more looks you have, which means the better your chances are going to be. Fitness. So C is a fancy acronym. It means Candidate Fitness Assessment. That is the fitness assessment that all academy applicants will undergo. except Coast Guard Academy. Coast Guard Academy, you will take something called the PFE, which is physical fitness exam. They have a little bit different requirements, but the CFA is going to be 6 events. It's going to be basketball throw, pull-ups, shuttle run, push-ups, sit-ups, and a mile run. All right, so be prepared, be thinking, all right, in fall of my senior year or summer going into my senior year, I need to be in the best shape of my life. You're going to be doing interviews. These military officers that sit on these boards are going to want to know all 3 of these components, academy, nominations, and ROTC, have interviews, and they're going to want to know that you have the character and the leadership that they're looking for. And the best way to do that is to lay eyes on you and talk to you for about an hour. I'd say about June, these applications will open, and that's when you're available to submit them.